Welcome to The Explainer. We're jumping right into the incredibly high-stakes world of modern financial compliance. Today, we're looking at exactly how institutions police Wall Street and global markets using some seriously advanced tech. Specifically, we're unpacking the hidden architecture of financial surveillance and the absolutely vital role of voice-to-text solutions.
So, to really understand why this tech is so critical, ask yourself, where do financial criminals actually hide their tracks today? Think about it. Think about the vast, historically unsearchable abyss of recorded trader phone calls. We're talking millions of hours of conversations happening every single day across global markets. I mean, if a trader is trying to manipulate a market or collude with a peer, they're not going to type it out in a highly monitored corporate chat, right? No, they're going to pick up the phone. And for a really long time, that audio data was just this massive blind spot for regulators and compliance teams.
Okay, let's dive into this. We're going on a quick, structured journey through four main areas. First, the voice risk problem. Second, defining voice to text. Third, the surveillance workflow. And finally, catching misconduct at scale. Starting right off with Section 1, the voice risk problem, and how we're finally uncovering that massive audio blind spot. Really, this is a tale of two entirely different data types. On one hand, you've got searchable, structured data. Emails, instant messages, chat logs. If a compliance officer needs to find a risky word like guarantee or insider, a simple text query scans millions of messages in literally seconds. But on the other hand, unstructured data, millions of hours of recorded voice communications. And the big problem here is that a huge share of potentially risky conduct happens right there, spoken out loud. Without a bridge between those two worlds, compliance teams are pretty much left manually listening to audio tracks, trying to find a needle in a massive, massive haystack. Which brings us to Section 2, defining voice to text and the core architectural shift that actually solves this problem.
Let's just ground ourselves in the exact terminology here. The NICE Acronyms glossary defines voice-to-text solutions quite simply. It's a process that recognizes spoken language and translates it into text. Now, in the high-stakes realm of financial crime, this is absolutely the foundational step. It takes all that unstructured, unsearchable audio we were just talking about and fundamentally transforms it into a structured format that can actually be analyzed.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the shift in perspective. We usually think of transcription as just a basic productivity tool, right? Something to reduce manual effort, kind of like dictating a text message to your phone. And sure, NICE Acronyms notes that trader voice transcription definitely accelerates investigations by cutting down manual work, but it goes way beyond just convenience. In financial surveillance, this is what's called a control-enabling technology. It's an active, defensive net used to detect real misconduct, off-channel references, market abuse, the whole shebang. Let's move into Section 3, the surveillance workflow. We're going to follow the data to see exactly how this operates in the real world. Let's move to this and see how this builds. It's super important to realize that transcription all by itself doesn't magically determine misconduct. It sits upstream. Here's the actual step-by-step workflow. Step 1, the raw audio recording is captured. Step 2, transcription kicks in, creating a searchable text layer. Step 3, once you have that text layer, firms can apply lexicons, complex surveillance rules, and natural language processing to actively search and score the data. And then finally, Step 4, only the highly scored or flagged items actually get routed to human compliance teams for manual investigation. So where is this workflow practically applied? Well, firms have to actively monitor a whole array of sources. We're talking trader calls, sales calls, client interactions, even internal voice communications. By applying that upstream transcription workflow to these specific sources, institutions can actively scan the horizon for signs of market abuse, mis-selling, and internal policy breaches. Let's zoom out and look at the macro picture in our fourth and final section, catching misconduct at scale, and the intense regulatory realities driving all of this. The pressure from global financial regulators to use these tools is just immense right now. The Financial Conduct Authority, or FCA, made this incredibly clear in their August 2025 Off-Channel Communications Review. They stated, robust record-keeping and monitoring of communications is essential for firms to detect and investigate misconduct. The legal stakes here are severe. Regulators absolutely expect firms to have a comprehensive grasp of what their employees are saying, no matter what medium they're using to say it. And that mandate? It's echoed right across the ocean by FINRA.
Their materials on AI and the securities industry explicitly point out that firms are expected to use AI to capture and surveil both structured and unstructured data. And yes, that specifically includes speech and voice, to identify suspicious patterns and anomalies. Financial authorities are making one thing crystal clear. Relying on random sampling, or just having someone randomly listen to tapes, that is no longer an acceptable defense.
So the crucial point is captured perfectly in a 2024 compliance note from Global Relay. They basically said, audio transcription is critical to robust voice surveillance to meet record-keeping and monitoring obligations. It's just not a nice-to-have feature anymore. Without transcription actually turning spoken words into analyzable records, reviewing recorded calls at an institutional scale is literally impossible. And this brilliantly illustrates the practical variables for success. Because simply going out and buying a transcription tool, not going to cut it. Catching bad actors at scale depends on several interconnected pieces. It hinges on transcription quality, because if the AI mishears crucial financial jargon, the whole system fails. You also need comprehensive language coverage for global markets, really strong internal governance, strict escalation standards for when bad behavior is actually found, and seamless integration with wider record-keeping controls. If even one of those elements falls flat, the entire surveillance net breaks down.
We've seen how voice-to-text takes spoken words and translates them into structured data, empowering AI to flag misconduct. But as markets evolve and the ways people communicate constantly shift, I want to leave you with this thought. In the institutions that haven't fully optimized these variables yet, how many risky conversations are currently flying completely under the radar? The cat-and-mouse game of market surveillance never really stops, but the architecture catching them is getting smarter, it's getting faster, and it's getting much, much better at listening. Thanks for joining me for this explainer.